Hello everyone and welcome to week number 2 of our Classes of Pantheon series. In case you missed last week's video, we are doing a 5-week mini-series on the Classes of Pantheon. Each week we will cover a certain role and the classes contained within, and finish off with a nice discussion video for you in the final week. The link for that introduction video is posted below, as well as the timestamps for each class in this video. Without further ado, here are the healers and the crowd control, aka support, of Pantheon. Welcome, welcome. The healers available in Pantheon and the ones we will be discussing today are the Cleric, the Druid, and the Shaman. We will get to that crowd control class after the healers. So let's kick off with Cleric. The Cleric class is locked into the Dark Mirror, the Dwarf, and Human races. They can wear any armor, including full plate. Yeah, and this is a healer class, guys. And they will use one-handed blunt, two-handed blunt, a celestial tomb, and a shield for weapons, or they can use any of those as they choose. This class really feels like a tanky healer that should be playing in the front line, which is, well, not something I've ever seen in a healer in an MMO. Let's take a look at some of the abilities we can see. And that kind of helps us focus on why this is a frontline class. First off, we have things like Favor of the Order, which heals you for melee damage dealt. We have Arcing Luminance, which heals you, 2 other allies, and you again. And Coalescence, which makes you and an ally have the same amount of health. I think that could benefit you or the other guy. We also see that this class is strong against undead, with abilities like White Light, Revile Undeath, and Rebuke, making them great off tanks or maybe even off DPS for undead fights. Let's take a look at some of the heal abilities, since you know that's kind of what this class should be doing, right? We will see a good range of different abilities here, from small burst to heal over time. We do get a resurrect and even some shield abilities. Speaking of shields, this class offers a lot of different shield or slash buffs, however you like to say it, such as Awakened Bravery, Ethereal Armor, and Celestial Aegis. Again, this class really feels like a tanky frontline healer, and I don't think I have anything to compare that to in any other MMO I've played. That being said, I think this role is actually our primary or main healer. If you guys can think of any class that kind of plays like this style of healer in another MMO, let me know. And I'm not talking about the Paladin, because that is a different class in this game. Next up, we'll talk about the Druid class. This class is locked into Hurake, Dark Mirror, Elf, Halfling, Human, or Ogre races. They can wear cloth or leather and are able to equip one-handed blunts, two-handed blunts, one-handed edged, and shields. This class comes with a pet white fox named Herode and is able to learn a trait from other things. Some of the traits that this class can learn from other things, which I'm guessing are mobs, are Black Wold's Swiftness, Oaken Regeneration, Panthera's Claw, and Swift Gill's Fin. This means you have to in some way interact and or learn these traits to get to use them. They will not be part of the base class, which should be pretty interesting. So how about this class as a base then? Well, this class feels a lot, and I mean a lot, like the Scholar from Final Fantasy XIV, where you're really just giving barriers and buffs, which in the end up giving some heals, but you don't actually do a whole lot of direct healing. Also, I found only one direct heal for this class. It comes from the pet, which is called Herode's Flame, which, you know, is just kind of like in Final Fantasy XIV, where your fairy does all the healing. Anyway, all the other heals and even a lot of Herode's abilities are to enhance the healing a target receives or protect them until the buff pops and then it heals them. We can see this in Verdant Seed, Herode's Gaze, Herode's Presence, and Herode's Shelter. This class is certainly most relatable to a scholar from Final Fantasy XIV and will be a great piece to every group, I think. Next up we have the Shaman, and this class is locked to the Arake, the Elf, the Human, the Ogre, or the Scar races. They can wear cloth, leather, or light mail, as you would expect from a Shaman, and can equip one-handed blunt, two-handed blunt, one-handed piercing, and shields. Something I want to point out here is that every single heal class has the ability to equip shields. Whereas when we talk about the tanks in a couple weeks, or actually next week, we'll notice that not all of them can equip shields. Alright, anyway, this class also comes with a pet, which is either a wolf or a bear. But prior to level 10, it's basically useless and just follows you around. But at level 10, you can bring it through a rite of passage and turn it into a full-fledged adult pet. At that point, it will be beneficial for you. However, what makes this class different for me is that they really control the elements of water, fire, earth, wind, animus, and ancestral. You also have a nice passive, which is all based around these elements, called Keeper of Elemental Mysteries, and this gives you bonus to healing by making sure you're using spells from each family on different targets. So let's take a look at some of these abilities from each family so you can get an idea what this class plays like. Do note that boons are like buffs and banes are like a debuff. Here's a water boon we have called Mantle of the Mist. Here's a fire bane we have called Wreath of Coals. Here we have an animus boon called Reptilian Veil. And here's a very cool, in my opinion, ancestral boon called Gate of Forgotten Eras. Now, I did see both a bane and a boon from each family, so there's quite a bit of spells here. And again, I really can't think of another class in an MMO that matches this. But again, it doesn't really feel like a main healer type, which leads me back to my belief that the Cleric is going to be the main healer. I also think that this class is very cool with all the different elemental spells. You're going to have to pretty much go, I do have a link below, so you can actually go see all the spells that they have on the website. Alright, that does the healers, so we're going to move on to our last class for this video, and it fills the role of crowd control. This one's called the Enchanter. And I'll tell you what, when I saw this was going to be a 4-role system, I was very excited to have support classes back. You guys may have caught an earlier video on this channel where we were talking about Ashes of Creation and a possible support role, and I think everybody was excited for it. So now I'm happy to actually report on a game where we are 100% certain there is a support class. I'm also happy to see a lot of other classes in this game gaining support abilities. But it's always interesting when they do this 100% true support class. So let's see if this Enchanter can actually fill the support role that we want. First off, the Enchanter is locked into the Dark Mirror, the Dwarf, the Elf, the Human, or the Gnome races. They will wear only cloth and equip one-handed piercing or blunt weapons, two-handed staffs, and certain shields. Right out of the gate, I saw this ability called Lyrith's Embellishment and saw the direction I thought they were going for this class.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Are you ready to play a Jedi? Just kidding. But kidding aside, I do see a lot of support coming from this class and not just crowd control. Here we see another ability called Illusion Graft Acuity, and a second one called Enshire's Faint Whisper. And this shows us that this class can buff allies in battle. And then if we look over here at Rend the Mind, we can see that even dealing direct damage is going to benefit the group as a whole. Of course, it also has the ability to silence enemies, reduce resistances, lower damage output, reset the hate list, and so much more. From the looks of this class, it will do very well at crowd control and will also be very beneficial to the group, but will not be putting out much damage at all, and of course not really healing. I think this role is a true support class. It does fit that mold, and well, it's probably going to be wanted in almost every single group. Alright, ladies and gents, that is the healers and crowd control of Pantheon. Throw some comments below on which one is your favorite, which one are you going to main, and what you think about the crowd control, aka the true support role. I'm also curious of your thoughts on the healers not having a generic cookie cutter type priest like we normally see in MMOs that just pumps out healing like crazy. And lastly, get ready for next week as we will be dropping the tanks of Pantheon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and get good scrubs.
Hey, it's Radit here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel. We put out multiple new videos each week and we appreciate all of your support. Thanks for watching, everyone, and cheers.